Experts say to stop anxiety, you should do 3 things: therapy, meditation, and improving your lifestyle. And yet, despite knowing the answer, the truth is, anxiety and depression are higher than ever. Look at this. Since 2020, the WHO has reported a 25% increase in prevalence of anxiety and depression worldwide. The fundamental problem isn't the advice. The advice is good. We know what we need to do. The problem is the execution. Anxiety is not a choice, but you do have a choice on how you respond to it. All right, let's play a game. Imagine we have a wheel of anxiety obstacles. Each section of this wheel represents a common barrier obstacle that someone has when it comes to reducing their anxiety. Think of these as common reasons people might give themselves for not addressing their anxiety. All right, so let's spin the wheel and see what happens. We landed on time management. This is a scenario where someone finds it challenging to fit therapy or meditation into their busy schedule. Let's spin again. This time, we landed on financial constraints. You might want to access therapy, but you can't afford it. And again, a lack of motivation. You know what you need to do, but you struggle to stay motivated. One more time. Here we have personal beliefs. You believe anxiety is something you should just deal with on your own, and it'll just go away. Here's the point. There are hundreds of videos on YouTube talking about anxiety, how to stop it, how to overcome it. But I've never once seen someone talk about how this great wealth of knowledge matters unless you know how to put it into practice. This is my framework for how you actually reprogram your mind to stop anxiety. And it all centers around the idea of teaching yourself to execute solutions. Step 1, buy into the idea of positive feedback loop. Have you ever heard of the pleasure principle? The term was originally introduced by Sigmund Freud in psychoanalytical theory. In a nutshell, it basically makes the argument that human beings are drawn to things that make them feel good, and then they shy away from things that make them feel bad. But there's this really interesting connection as well. It has to do with approach avoidance conflict in psychology, where individuals are motivated to approach pleasant stimuli and avoid unpleasant stimuli. We see this all the time in our daily lives. Many of us procrastinate on tasks that we find unpleasant or stressful, like writing a report or cleaning the house. So instead, what do? We watch TV or doom scroll through social media. Executing on things that reduce our anxiety likely falls into the procrastination category. So let's say you're faced with an anxiety-reducing activity like therapy. Let's be honest. No one wants to sit in front of a therapist and talk about painful experiences. Now, this initial avoidance can provide some temporary relief, but in the end, it results in more stress and more guilt over not confronting the issue, which in turn reinforces your feelings of inadequacy and failure. As these negative emotions build, your anxiety about facing similar situations intensifies. This causes further avoidance, perpetuating the cycle. This loop not only maintains the anxiety, but can also make it progressively worse over time. For many caught in it, it can feel inescapable. What you need to do is create a positive feedback loop. Let me explain. Imagine for a moment that you go into therapy, and in that therapy session, you do something you don't want to do, like bearing your soul to the therapist. Except instead of feeling embarrassed or disappointed that your problems aren't immediately fixed, you find a way to reward yourself, like going out to your favorite restaurant. And you do this consistently to the point where you actively look forward to doing that hard, anxiety-reducing thing you don't want to do. That's the positive feedback loop. It may seem like a pipe dream now, but I'm not the one who came up with it. This concept of positive reinforcement is grounded in behavioral psychology. According to B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning theory, behaviors that are followed by positive outcomes are more likely to be repeated. By consistently rewarding yourself after taking anxiety-reducing actions, you create a positive feedback loop that encourages the repetition of these beneficial behaviors. But the question is, how? Well, that's where step 2 of my framework comes into play. Routines are the foundation of your feedback loop. But not just any routine, the right type of routine. This is Simone Biles. She is by most accounts the greatest gymnast of all time. In 2020, during the Tokyo Olympics, Simone falls victim to something called the twisties. It's a phenomenon where gymnasts lose their sense of spatial awareness. It grew to be such a problem in the 2020 Olympics that Simone made the decision to stop competing. The amount of hate she received by the public for this decision was insane. And after the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, she literally had no desire to go back into the gym. She was caught in her own negative feedback loop. On July 17, 2024, a few weeks before the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, Netflix released a documentary of Simone Biles. It follows Simone in the lead up to the Paris Olympics. In it, you hear this really important message from Simone that she talks about her approach in 2024.
3 years ago, I never thought I'd step foot on a gymnastics floor again just because of everything that had happened. But with the help of Cecile and Laurent, I got back in the gym and worked really hard mentally and physically. Even this morning at 7 a.m., I saw my therapist, and there's a time change. So she is so amazing for allowing me to do that these couple of days here in Paris. So just making sure I'm mentally well. I think you see that out on the competition floor. And then my goat necklace is just kind of an ode because the people love it and then some people hate it. So it's like the best of both worlds. And I was like, okay, if it goes well, we'll wear the goat necklace. I know people will go crazy over it. But at the end of the day, it is crazy that I am in the conversation of greatest of all athletes because I just still think I'm Simone Biles from Spring, Texas that loves to flip.
What Simone is really talking about here is getting into a healthy routine, a routine that doesn't enable poor habits. That's the most difficult part for people to understand. Many people get into routines, but they often get into routines of doing the wrong types of things, thus embedding the wrong habits and creating a negative feedback loop. So, what did Simone do differently? Well, notice how in the earlier quote she mentioned she called her therapist. This is a huge change because she's on the record stating that she didn't really buy into the whole therapy thing. And now she considers it an important part of her routine. And it worked. She finished the Paris Olympics with 3 golds and 1 silver. That's the power of establishing a routine. But what kind of routine actually works to combat anxiety? Well, to be honest with you, there's not a lot of research out there that we can rely on. So I figured the best way to answer this would be to crowdsource and find answers from real people and what they said actually worked. And honestly, what I found that people said that worked for them was really interesting. Take this person, for example, Lilac Anderson. They said that what worked for them was a deleted social media account, alcohol detox, walks in nature, and remind myself daily that opinions aren't truth. Here's another one from someone named Chilan Cho. Apparently their therapist made the following recommendations to them.
First, when your anxiety is triggered, it's the emotional side of your brain at work, like a dog or a toddler. You can't just tell your brain to stop doing something. You have to redirect it. In this case, you need to engage the logical side of your brain. So, numbers. Count upwards by a challenging number like 3 or 13. Play the sevens game, where you can't say a number with a 7 in it or a multiple of 7. Second, when your anxiety flares up, your body releases a bunch of adrenaline into your system. It can take up to 10 minutes for it to clear, so whatever numbers, breathing, or meditation you do, make sure to do it for at least 10 minutes.
Here's another interesting take from someone named Kamantka1. This person said they used vitamin D supplements, increased water intake, decreased caffeine consumption, and journaling instead of doom scrolling. Let's combine elements from all 3 answers. It looks like what's actually working for people is pulling away from social media, walks in nature, decreasing caffeine, engaging in practices like journaling, incorporating supplements such as vitamin D, therapy, and using logical redirection techniques during anxiety episodes like counting or playing mental games. What's the one thing that stands out about these things? They're hard. There isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to reprogramming your brain. They require consistent effort and commitment. While they are effective, they are also challenging to maintain because they go against many of our ingrained habits and comfort zones. Let's break this down. First, we have participating in therapy. Therapy involves regularly attending sessions, which can be time-consuming and emotionally draining. It requires openness, vulnerability, and the willingness to confront difficult emotions and experiences. Pulling away from social media. This can be especially difficult because social media is designed to be addictive. Many of us use it as a primary means of social interaction and entertainment. Cutting back can feel isolating and trigger emotions of FOMO, fear of missing out. Walks in nature. Even though it feels refreshing and beneficial, finding the time and motivation to go on for a walk, especially in natural settings, can be so challenging for those with a busy schedule or those living in urban areas. It requires breaking the habit of staying indoors and making a deliberate effort to engage with the outdoors. Decreasing caffeine. For many of us, caffeine is a daily crutch to boost energy and focus. Reducing intake can lead to withdrawal symptoms and a decreased productivity initially, making it tempting to revert to old habits. Engaging in reflective practices like journaling. Journaling requires time, introspection, and a quiet space. It's a practice that doesn't provide instant gratification and can be difficult to maintain regularly, especially when life gets busy or stressful. Incorporating supplements such as vitamin D. Remembering to take supplements consistently can be very tough, especially for those that are not used to taking vitamins daily. It requires establishing a new routine and sticking to it, using logical redirection techniques. Engaging in the logical side of the brain during anxiety episodes, like counting or playing mental games, requires presence of mind and practice. It's easy to forget these techniques in the heat of the moment and fall back into the negative thought patterns. Is this all starting to sound familiar? It's a full callback to the barrier wheel we talked about in the beginning of this video. The main theme here is consistency and understanding your triggers. Establishing and maintaining these habits is hard. Most people don't want to do it, and it's easy to fall out of the pattern. These activities often require stepping out of your comfort zone and investing time and effort without immediate rewards. But that's the element that's missing from this all. The most powerful way to reprogram your brain. Step 3, use positive reinforcement. This is truly where the reprogramming of your mind begins. When you reward yourself after completing that task that contributes to the reducing anxiety, you create a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. That much should be obvious. Really, though, what you're trying to do is counteract that negative feeling associated with these tasks, such as fear, discomfort, or reluctance. Over time, your brain begins to associate these anxiety-reducing activities with positive emotions. It makes it easier to maintain consistency. So the question becomes, how do you implement the positive reinforcement? Honestly, you want to employ a 5-step process. Step 1, identify your triggers. Understanding the root cause of your anxiety is crucial in determining the best ways to overcome it. For example, if your social anxiety is the issue, you might start by booking an online session with a therapist specializing in cognitive behavioral therapy and gradually work up to the in-person sessions. If the cause is related to low iron or vitamin D levels, collaborating with your doctor to bring those levels up to an optimal range would be the appropriate course of action. Step 2, identify small milestones. Break down your goals into small, manageable steps. Instead of focusing on the end goal of reducing anxiety, celebrate smaller achievements like attending a therapy session or completing a meditation exercise. And going for a walk is a great idea as well. Step 3, choose effective rewards. The type of reward you choose is crucial. Effective rewards are those that bring you joy and are not counterproductive. They also need to be the right type of reward. All right, so what's the right type of reward? What's in the right type of a reward? The right type of reward should be something that aligns with your overall goals, but does not undermine your progress. For example, if you're trying to reduce your anxiety and improve your health, rewarding yourself with a healthy snack or relaxing activity is more beneficial than indulging in unhealthy food or activities that could trigger more stress. Rewards should not become a new source of stress. For instance, if you buy something expensive that strains your budget, you will only add to your anxiety. Instead, focus on something simple and affordable, and meaningful rewards that bring you genuine happiness and relaxation. Here are a few real-life examples of what that would look like. Healthy snacks or treats, enjoying a dark piece of chocolate or a favorite healthy snack can be a really easy reward. Relaxation time, allow yourself some extra relaxation time like watching an episode of your favorite show or taking a warm bath. Physical rewards, small tangible rewards such as a new book, new outfit, or a gadget that you've been wanting can be highly motivating. Social rewards, share your achievements with a friend or family member who supports you. Their positive feedback can be a powerful reinforcer. Step 4, consistency and rewarding. Ensure that you reward yourself consistently. Each time you accomplish a small goal, take the time to celebrate it. This consistency helps to establish a strong connection between the behavior and the reward. Step 5, adjust as needed. As you progress, your needs and what you find rewarding may change. Be flexible and willing to adjust your rewards to ensure they remain motivating. If you remember anything from this video, let it be this. There's a difference between memorizing a fact and understanding it. Everyone knows what to do about anxiety. It's regurgitated everywhere online. But often in my life, I found that people who memorize facts often use them to impress others in conversation. In contrast, those who truly grasp concepts tend to integrate this understanding into their lives, adapting their behavior or striving to change the world. Don't memorize. Seek to understand and then execute.